flowers on all of them. The whole thing though. And the front ones don't seem to do it, but I got a lot of them. But I'm gonna put them in a.
Yeah, it seems like you gotta put them in a bigger.
I am. I gotta get some more dirt though. I ran out of that. I bought a bag at Robinson's, but I gotta get more
Of what?
dirt, topsoil, because I want to put them on the porch. I got that. Like Heidi got me those. I got one I had from my own in the backyard, so I thought I'd put them in there so the rabbits don't eat them.
It's so funny, you buy dirt and water. It's ready available. It's right there. You go buy in the bag.
And I
Yeah.
love cherry tomatoes.
How do you eat them?
With your mouth. I like them with
Cheers.
salt. I like them with salt. Cheers. Actually, I do. That's my favorite. Just pick one off and eat it.
Butter, salt, tomato sandwiches are amazing.
Yeah. Big tomatoes, I like bacon, lettuce, and tomato. Or tomatoes and cucumbers with olive oil and vinegar. There you go.
What's your favorite food though?
My favorite food,
Mm-hmm.
eggplant, lasagna. Do you want to go on?
Eggplant what? Like eggplant parmesan?
Eggplant parmesan.
Do you remember when I was a kid, we used to make it, and I thought it was the best meal ever, dinner, venison with pancakes.
Mm-hmm. We had them.
But I didn't realize until I got older that it was like a cheap meal, and that's why you made it. That's so amazing though.
Well, that's what I grew up on, leftovers.
Yeah, but I mean, Dad shot the deer,
Yep.
and pancake batter's cheap, and syrup's fairly cheap. So we had venison and pancakes for dinner. It's amazing.
Yeah, we did. Loved it. It was one of my favorite meals because I didn't like a lot of food.
So what about Sunday dinner? The meatballs, the
Spaghetti,
sauce.
meatballs,
Oh
and
my God!
sausage.
You
Homemade
just love
too.
going in there and dumping bread in there. It was cooking. It was amazing. Loved it.
You never had brujol, have you?
What is that?
Brujol.
What is that?
It's steak with stuffing and eggplant stuffing in it, and you put sauce on it. Or
How
put
come
it
you
in-
never made that?
Well, you have to tie it up and everything, and I didn't have the energy.
That's a lot of work.
You have to have like twine rope and just stuff it, and then first you got to take the steak and brown it, sear it, whatever you call it, and before you put the stuffing in it, and then once you put the stuffing in it, you wrap it up in this like thin, it looks like rope, and you wrap it up and bake it, and then you put it in the sauce. It's good.
Have you ever made it?
No, my mom did though.
How come you don't make it?
I just never did. I don't
I
know.
put an order in.
And there's
now.
a certain kind of certain kind of steak you gotta use. You can't use sirloin. I forgot what it was. I think it was almost round steak. I'm not sure.
Kind of like a ribeye or something.
I don't know. I don't remember. I've got an Italian cookbook. I'll have to look in there. All Italian meals
All right, I'm putting that on the menu. You need to make that
with homemade sauce.
for us. Yeah, we'll all eat it together.
We always had a little bit of spaghetti on the side though. It wasn't just that. My mother was a fantastic cook. Oh my God.
What was her best meal that she made though? Grandma Winnie.
Her sauce, I think, was the best.
Homemade, I mean like she made it from scratch, right?
Yeah, everything was from scratch. I don't know. I don't remember. But everything.
Now, when you were young though, like, did you guys all sit at the table and eat dinner together?
Oh yeah.
Every day?
We had to. Yep. There was no saying no.
Need more of that.
And you never could leave the table till you're done eating. But we had a dog. And my mom used to make liver. And oh my God,
Who makes liver for their family?
well, I wasn't even making. She just thought the doctor told her that would be healthy, so she made liver with onions. Ugh. And I don't care what she did to it, you couldn't change that taste. She put sauce on it. She do everything.
That's an organ you should not eat, liver.
Oh God, it's horrible. Well, anyway, they'd leave the table. Wait till my parents leave, because my dad said you're going to sit there until you eat that. Oh God.
The dog even hated
The
it.
dog ate it.
What was the dog's name?
Tuffy.
Tuffy.
What kind of dog?
I don't know.
Big dog or?
It's a mixed breed
It's
mutt,
middle
probably.
side. It had like shepherd in it, I think, but it had long hair. I mean, it was a nice dog. My father hated animals. So he made Mom keep the dog in the cellar because he didn't want it around him.
Cellar dog.
So the dog would come up once in a while, and he knew Dad didn't like him. So he'd come up and sneak on his stomach behind the couch. So he wouldn't find him. Yeah, he's a good dog. Yeah, the dog took me for a big ride one day. I took him out for a walk, and he just took off, and I fell right on my stomach.
Is that when you lived on Kutsu Street?
No, this one was on William Street. It's actually Spence Street because we lived in the black part towards Spence Street. Those houses are down the corner. Yeah.
So how did Uncle Jack, like, I'm thinking of him as a kid, being wild. Did he like liver?
None of us liked liver.
So how did he didn't like talk back or anything? Grandpa Harry was like...
You didn't talk back to my father. It didn't work. It just didn't work. He didn't like my sense of humor though, because I was the only one that would crack up somebody if they wanted, just for the fun of it. Everybody's quiet, so I go, the barracuda come and bites to my toe. My father got so mad. And Mom was trying not to laugh. It was funny. Jack was just a nervous kid. He just was everywhere, all over the place.
Was Uncle Ronnie always wicked cool?
Yeah, but Ronnie wasn't home that much, really.
What was he doing?
He was off with his friends, camping in the woods. Cause we had.
Well, what age we talking about?
We're talking young.
Teenage?
Yeah. Well, maybe he was 12 starting.
All right.
And he had friends across the street, and there was woods near the pond. There was Theron's Pond was there, so he'd go over there and even sleep all night in the wilderness.
What about Aunt Barbie?
Barbie was a home nut. I mean, she
stayed at home a lot?
She never. And I think back on it, I wasn't outdoors. Actually, when I got to be 12, 13, I was a tomboy, actually. And I'd be out there playing cops and robbers with the boys, and the boys tied me up in the garages because I was captured. Or I'd climb on the roof, because it was a flat roof, of course. So I'd climb. She never came out and played, ever. Even in the daytime. No, that was usually when I was little, in the garage with my dolls, in the carriage, and all day. I mean, all day. But she never did. She didn't even like dolls, actually. Barbie was always withdrawn and quiet. In fact, I had to look out for her, even in school, coming home from school. That's how I got hit by the car, because of her. The boys were chasing her, and I was chasing them to leave her alone. So I was about 6, so I ran after her. And I remember getting hit. I didn't know what the hell happened, because I didn't know it. And the next thing I knew, I was underneath the car with the thing out to my neck, the front bumper. And I hurt my leg pretty bad, and other than that, I was okay. And the guy that got me out from underneath the car, he says, and he drew up, I was okay. I mean, I didn't even know what the hell happened, actually, because I got knocked out. I remember that. And then he said, I'm going to take you home. And I started to cry. I can't go home with you. And he says, why, honey? Because I was taught not to go with strangers. I cannot go home with you. So your sister's coming too. We'll be fine. Yeah, that was a big day. But I got to stay home 2 days.
Now, how old were you when that happened?
6.
You remember that vividly. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Memory's nuts.
Well, it's funny because when it hit me, I didn't know what the hell happened. It was so fast. And I felt the hit. The next thing I knew, I woke up, because I know I got knocked out. I know I did. And I woke up, I didn't even know where I was. It was underneath the car. I had no recognition. What the hell just happened? But I was lucky.
Did you go to the hospital?
They took me to the doctors and checked me out, but no. I had, a lot of scrapes and bruises, but nothing was broken, thank God. And I landed on my stomach, not my, so it didn't hurt my back, really. But that Barbie, you had to take care of her. Because she was, in those days, they picked on people they thought were black. And Barbie was really dark. Not like Jack and I, or Ronnie even. She was really dark. She was really the Italian in the family. So I think what they were doing, because they were antagonizing her, picking on her. So she ran, they chased, what made her run across the street, I don't know. But there was about 3 little boys. They weren't big boys, they were little boys, But,
So let's fast forward.
Yeah.
The first time you met Dad.
Oh,
Tell that story.
Okay. Okay, the day I met Dad, Barbie and I we lived upstairs over a bakery. And they had no roof on the porch of the bakery. So we were just sitting out there sunning ourselves.
What street in Rome, so people know?
Expense.
Okay.
And then we were just sitting on the, I hated the sun. Usually I got a picture of my face when we were laying in the sun the same day I met him. Ew. But then a car went by and then went up further, and these two guys got out. It was Teddy Burke and Dad. They come back to say, oh. And Dad said, I said to Teddy, those girls are cute, let's go back there. So his mother let him out. So when they came, they started, I knew Teddy, I didn't know Dad at all. So Dad never said a word, he's so quiet. And they said, can we meet you maybe later?
See, maybe it's cool, not quiet. Now keep going, never mind.
All right, wise ass. Anyway, they went over and met at Joanne's house, who was my best friend. Well, I had a crush on Teddy right away, but Teddy liked Joanne. So I got stuck with your father, Bucky Trickle. So we went to a parade. And after the parade, it was all over.
What was the parade?
I don't remember. It's
what
like
time of year was it?
Day, I
Memorial,
think
okay.
So we went to the parade, and maybe we all wore cute dresses then too, so I felt pretty special. So after the parade, he was going to leave, of course, and go back home. He kissed me. That was it.
Did he kiss good?
Ooh. He always didn't. Oh, yeah.
He was a good kisser?
After that, it was like, I'm lost in him. Totally lost in him. And then we broke up for a whole year.
Tell that story when you guys got back together. That's a good one.
Oh, when we got back together.
Yeah.
I was in the car with Tom. I'm not going to tell you his last name. Tommy, and we were going to the movies. And I had written Bucky a letter saying how much I missed him, I really loved him, and I wish he'd come and see me, that kind of gooey stuff then. So we were in the car, and I had gotten a letter from a guy in the Air Force. So I saw Bucky in the phone booth, and I said, well, God, I know he's calling me. He ain't calling anybody else in Rome. So I started a fight with Tommy and took out the letter. He said, you trying to start a fight with me? I said, yeah, I said, take me home. I can't stand you. So he did. He took me home, and I no sooner got to the door and I heard the phone ring. So I yelled upstairs, Mom, I'm home, I'm home. It was him, and after that, we've been together. That was it. Oh God, he was, man.
He was like wicked good looking, right?
Oh yeah.
Talented, sports-wise and all that stuff.
Yeah, basketball player.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was good about, yeah. He's shy though. He had a very, very shy side, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And he had a redneck side too, so.
So how old were you guys when you got married?
19. We were
That seems very young now, like in these days,
I
right?
know, 16 when we met. We started going together. Yeah.
Your dad was okay with it?
Yeah, at that point though in time, he had to get over it because I was out of school. And I was working at the record shop, so I was my own person, you know?
I didn't know you worked at a record shop.
Mm-hmm.
What record shop was that?
It was on James Street in Rome.
Remember the name of it?
Vecchio's.
That's pretty freaking cool. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
He left it all to myself too, and I was a nervous wreck, honest to God. Well, there's a big story there too. I never was good at math, ever. I hated math.
What's 2 plus 2?
Don't tell me it's not 8.
It
Anyway. Anyway, what's I saying?
The Vecchios.
Big story, Canada.
Yeah.
Oh, a lady, a colored lady, native lady, whatever. She comes in the store and she sees this radio. She buys this radio, right? Nobody to help me because I didn't know cash register even. So I had the price on it, and she gave me the money, and I didn't give her the right change back, and she yelled at me, "What are you, stupid? What are you this? What are you that?" Of course, I was wrecked then. So Kantz comes in, and he says, "Give her a break. She's new at this." So he straightened that out. I was definitely afraid of money. But I more or less kind of, he didn't really get a lot of people in there though, because we had more than one record shop anyway. But it was fun.
So did Dad ever like visit you there when you were working?
No. I had another boyfriend then. That was the Tommy.
What was his name?
Tommy.
Oh,
He was
you
coming.
said that, but I thought you picked a fight with him to get back
I
with
did.
Dad.
This was before.
You were
that.
double dating?
This was.
Oh, I guess
no.
I'm talking to do.
No. This was before that happened.
Oh, all right.
And I used to have to take the money bag over to the YMCA, and Tommy picked me up from work, and I take it in. This is crazy. So I'd go in there, and they're playing the music, and all our teenagers are in there, of course, my age and whatever. So there's one furlough kid. He asked me to dance. I took the time. Okay, we can do that. So Tommy is out there waiting, right? I didn't give a shit. So he's, you know how you see those movies with the guys blowing in your ear?
Yeah. He blew in your ear.
Yeah, I love you. You don't even know me. He's blowing in my ear. Oh, I love you. I said, oh my God.
I forgot about ear blowing. That's not even a thing
It's
anymore.
so stupid.
What's that even mean? I'm going to blow in your ear
That's
later.
supposed to be a hot thing, I guess. I don't know. It wasn't. Pretty stupid if you ask me, but that's part of my history, you know.
All right, so you and Dad are dating. You were with Tommy, and you saw Dad on the
That was over.
payphone.
Yeah.
You went home, answered the phone, and then after that phone call, tell me that phone call, how that all worked out.
I just went upstairs and he answered the phone and he goes, "Hi, Roz," and I go, "Yep." And I didn't tell him I saw him on the phone, but I didn't say it was with another guy.
Did you tell him later though?
No.
Okay.
I never
Keep
told
going.
him.
You should have, but let's go.
But it kind of clicked. We stayed together all that time.
So what'd you say on the phone?
I don't remember. Just I was excited. Oh, he told me where he was, and I told him he come and got me, and we went to the movies.
What movie?
Oh God, that I can't tell you.
Drive-in or regular cinema?
The regular
type thing?
movies, but we didn't watch much movies. We used to go in the balcony.
Oh, you guys. I don't need to hear this stuff.
We used to make out in the balcony. More
So,
fun. More fun.
how long? Not long after that, you guys literally got married,
I'm too young.
and then you moved in with
Grandma.
Grandma Kirkland,
Right.
and then bought the house that I grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start there. So, was Heidi born before we moved into the 82nd Street house?
Wendy was 1 month old, 3 months old when we moved in there.
So,
I had Heidi and Wendy.
you had Wendy and Heidi before you moved out of Grandma Kirkland's?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's another story. Dad was walking home from work. He worked at the wire mill. And he apparently wanted out of Grandma's as much as I did because we didn't have a whole lot of privacy.
No, there's no privacy.
And we didn't feel like newlyweds.
I mean, it's a huge house, but
Because
still.
actually, we were still newlyweds.
Yeah.
I got pregnant with Heidi on my honeymoon. And anyway, he come home and he says, I just bought a house. I go, where? He says, down the street. I hated that house, Kurt.
It was bad, right?
Oh, it was in bad shape. The walls were all that bumpy stucco, holes in behind the pictures, because they left a lot of stuff on the walls.
I remember the old living room and the high ceilings and
Yeah,
everything.
I love that. You know, I'd love that back. I'd love that ceiling to come down and make it big. You know, bring it back and fix it.
It was,
Because it's got all that canvas in.
yeah.
What I love that back.
And it was like 2 rooms, though.
Yeah, it was 2 rooms.
Yeah.
And it had those hanging chandeliers.
Yeah.
But I didn't. The kitchen is where the den is right now. It was the kitchen, and it was one of those small. What do you call them? Anyway.
I don't know, but,
But
a little
it
nook.
had an old-fashioned stove. You could actually put a galley.
Galley.
And all these ugly blue cupboards. You know, they just were horrible. So then with the kitchen table, we put in the other end because there was like a shed off the back, so that was my table. But I cooked on that stove. And it was a nice stove. You look back at it now, a lot of people want them. It was that thick steel stuff, you know. It was blue and white. What else?
So when did, so Heidi and Wendy were born when you were living with Grandma. Then you guys bought that
The
shitty house that you hated. And then how long after that was Beaver coming?
2 years more later. Heidi was born in 60, Wendy in 61, and Beaver 63.
And I was 69.
And that was planned. Oh, yeah.
I was the only planned baby.
Dad wanted that baby. Well, he just come up to me one day, let's have another baby. Well, you know the history. It happened fast. So, and then I had a sick baby. You were very sick.
Yeah. But I pulled through.
You didn't want to come out. It's a good thing all of a sudden you decided to come out because they weren't feeling a heartbeat or nothing. You come out with a collapsed lung,
When you say
heart murmur.
I had my last rites read to
You
me.
had the last rites by a
Yeah.
nurse. And it was like 4 days before I knew you were going to be okay. So, but you went and disconnected my pelvic bone. Cartilage all broke loose. The pain, oh my God, that was horrible.
Sorry, Mom.
So then, you ought to be. And anyway, what was I gonna say? Let me work that out. Oh, I couldn't walk, so we had to cook because of pain. I couldn't walk, so we had to stay with Sue, with the baby, with you, and we stayed there. Just Dad had enough of that too, because when Heidi used to want to go there, see, Heidi and Wendy stayed at Grandma's, and he Sue.
After you got the house?
Yeah, this was after you were born.
Okay.
So Laura, she took care of his first bath and everything, but the worst part of that Dad noticed was, and Heidi let Shelly and Tina take over the baby, like it was their baby. So Heidi was supposed to come over there one day, and she was supposed to give the baby help give a bath, and Sue told her to get out, go to Grandma's, Shelly's going to give her the bath. So Heidi was spunky. Oh, she was a spunky little shit. She says, "It's my baby brother. It's not your baby." So Sue says, "I don't care. Shelly's gonna." So Dad, we were on the couch, and Dad happened to hear her, and Heidi was coming out of the kitchen crying, and Bucky took a hold of her and said, "It's gonna be okay, honey." So he said, "Gather up your stuff, Roz. We're going home." Because Sue was getting so attached to that baby, she cried when I took it home.
What baby?
You.
Oh, I was like, who's it and that baby? And...
Kurt. Well, I was just.
That.
I know, I was.
Those are my pronouns.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I never used names when I had to go with that. I thought something like that,
So,
bath.
When you finally got everybody to the 82nd Street house,
Yeah.
when, I was an infant, it and that type of guy. How old was Heidi?
Oh, God, 9.
And Wendy was like
8.
7 or 8.
Beaver
Beaver,
was 6.
and I was an infant. So from that, let's fast forward to like 5 years when Beaver started, when they were all teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
Because the only thing I have memory-wise of my brother and sisters is the music that they gave me. The records and all that stuff. So,
constantly.
And the hodgepodge with Beaver and all that stuff. So I want to know the personalities of every one of my siblings. Like, what was great about them?
Oh, my God. Where do I go with this one?
Like Heidi.
Heidi was my, like a little mother, especially to you.
Mm-hmm.
She took care of you, gave you a bath. Nobody had to tell her to do it either. Of course, your crib was in their room. So when they woke up, you woke up. She was the one that brought you downstairs. Beaver, he's got a baby brother, so what? What the hell's the big deal? Wendy, too. She was kind of, of course, when Wendy was born, we were over at Grandma's then. I come home from the hospital, and the baby was in the carriage, and I said, "Come see your little baby sister." She looks at her and walks away like, you know what I mean? But Heidi was the one that was more book reader. You almost can say she loved cutting up deer, fish.
Really?
Or she cut the fish with Dad and what's in their stomach.
Oh yeah, looking at what's in the
Yeah, she had to cut them up to see what was in there.
Yeah.
So she tried to scare me with that because that's my phone, I think, honey. Oh. So bring my purse in. I'll see who it is. And anyway,
we don't need to answer that.
So anyway, Heidi was very ladylike. She was very she wasn't a bad kid at all. She was a good kid. So was Wendy. But Wendy didn't want to play with dolls. She just was.
Do you remember?
Different.
Let's talk about this story real quick, and we're not far off the timeline. This is from my memory, and I need a clarification. When Wendy took off.
Oh yeah.
And we all took off. I was in the car with you and Dad, and we ended up in Taberg somewhere, and we crossed that bridge in Taberg.
Myers is.
And we stopped. I just want to know if it all fits in my memory.
Right.
and Dad stopped, and there was a group of teenagers standing on the bridge, and when you or him asked, you know, did you see Wendy Kirkland and whatever, and somebody said, yeah, she just jumped in the river.
Yep.
Is that true, or?
True. That's true. Scared the shit out of me. So then we went to this guy's house, because she used to.
What, she went for her boyfriend?
Yeah, Myers.
Okay.
Myers.
I didn't know
And we knocked on the door, of course, and asked if Wendy was there. Of course, even the mother said no. She wouldn't let us in the house, of course. Joan. She used to be my friend. In fact, it was Joan and Jean that got Bucky and I do things together, because they go. My father was so strict, so I'd go to their house and then I'd see him. Anyway, yeah, that's what they said. And I, no, she's not here. We don't know where she is, you know. So, of course, I started to cry. And then Joan says to me, well, as far as I know, Wendy said that Bucky, her father, used to beat her up. And I says, what? I says, he never even spanked those kids. Don't tell me he beat her up. Well, anyway, come to find out, she was hiding in their closet. So we had called the troopers, because they were fighting the fact that we were going to take her home. So Wendy said she wasn't going home. So the trooper come, and he says, you either go home with your mother. He said, just because you think you can do it, like you're 16, you can't. And he said, we can always put you in home for a while, if that's what you want. Well, that stopped everything. She got in the car and told her I loved her on the way home. And
I wish I could remember
Wendy was
like
very,
being in the car with her. I don't remember that part.
You were.
I know, in the back seat.
But she was very defiant. Oh, God. She's the one that she was in the bar one day. She was 17, Heather. And she was in there with these not so good boys. So I called the bar, and I said, my daughter's in there, Wendy Kirkland. I says, you need to get her out of there. I says, because if you don't get her out of there, I'm going to send the police to get her out of there. Take your choice. She was so mad at me. Oh, my God. She's yelling when she got home, you made me look like a fool. I feel like a complete fool. I says, well, you shouldn't have been in there.
Keep going.
I said, I'm only looking out for you, that's all. Of course, no. I was just being a parent, of course. A mean one. Yeah, she was defiant as hell.
But you couldn't, like, wrangle her or Beav in? They were like the wild child.
Yeah.
Like, Heidi and I are the great bookends of the family.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they were, I don't know, they weren't bad kids. I mean, I don't mean...
No, not bad, but
they were
wild.
Sneaky and defiant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of my greatest memories, I want to know if you remember this. Beaver and I shared that bedroom, and Wendy and Heidi had their bedroom. And Beav and I, we scrounged up enough money to go down to Western Auto to buy the Kiss Alive 2 record. Do you remember hearing that come blazing out of that?
I remember all the noise curves.
Because they had, the frogs are banging. Look at, oh my God, never mind. I was distracted. The frogs are, never mind.
They were playing?
They were, I haven't seen that in a long time. But anyway, we went down to Western Auto, bought that record, and put the stickers all over the mirror and all that stuff. You don't remember the sounds of Kiss coming out of that room?
Oh, yeah. Of course, I heard a lot of music coming out of that room.
Yeah.
Noisy, oh my God. There was never, I swear to God, there was never a day where I could relax without that boom, 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 boom music. I swear. But it was okay.
But him and I sharing that room was like one of the most important things to me. I didn't know it at the time. And then sneaking over to Heidi and Wendy's room and listening to all their records, and it just, the flavor of all that stuff was amazing. So let's talk about Beaver and the hodgepodge.
Oh God.
In that story where Dad went down to the hodgepodge.
Well, there was always bad people talking bad about that stuff, different stuff that happens in there, and I didn't want them in there. You know.
It was an arcade, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know that Beaver took off out of the house.
He come home and he said he was going to hodgepodge, and I said, no, you're not. But Bucky was working. So I said, no, you're not. So he tried to get away from me, and I ripped his shirt off him. I just grabbed a hold of him and ripped. He goes, I just bought this shirt. And he's just bitching, you know. So he went there without me wanting him to. So it wasn't long before Bucky got out of work, and I told him. Bucky was so freaking mad. He got in their car, went after him. He said, you disobeyed your mother? You talked back to your mother? Get your ass in the car. Of course he did. He said, you don't do that. When she tells you no, she means no. But he was like that too. He's like a lot like Wendy was. Those personalities were a lot alike.
Those two were rebellious bastards.
Yeah, they were. And, you know, and they didn't get it. I was just trying to help them. I didn't want them to get in trouble, you know. To Wendy, I hated her, according to her.
You didn't.
But then she'd run over to Grandma's. And she'd say to
How
Grandma,
old was Wendy when she said you hated her?
16.
Yeah.
Or every time I had
every kid. Remember, I was dyslexic and I'd write on chalk on the wall. I hate mom. I hate bad.
Kids do that. Yeah.
I was dyslexic. I didn't know my B's and
Of course,
D's.
she hated me. I was, disciplining her. So to her, I didn't care. And she hodgepodge. Oh, Dad went after him, brought him home. I don't know what else do you want to know.
Now, when he got home, how did all that work out? Was it good?
Oh yeah, it worked out.
Did he like beat me up or something?
Oh,
because he was pissed.
You were in his way when you were going upstairs. Kirk used to get in his way, you know. He used to pick on him. Oh my God.
I learned how to fight because of him and his friends.
I told him when he was doing it, him and his friends, I said, you know, someday he's going to be bigger than you, and he's going to come back at you.
No, him and his friends. That's how we learned to fight. Was from them guys.
Yeah.
Now I remember he taught us. He came into our bedroom. He was laughing at me. Wade and I were hanging out, and he goes, "If you like breathe real heavy and you blow on your thumb, you'll pass out." So we're trying to pass out. You know, it's one of those things. So I'm like jumping up and down. Wade and I are jumping up and down. I'm going. We didn't pass out. What he meant was, and like hold your breath, like blow on your thumbs and hold your breath, and then you would pass out. Yeah, that's a childhood I had. But the Kiss records, and Beaver taking my Halloween candy.
Oh my God. He'd take
and
his
making
bag
us
of
fight
candy.
for it.
He had to walk past me to get it. Remember?
Yeah.
Tormented him. He loved his little brother. He liked to torment him.
You know his friends used to like sneak in the upstairs window,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
They
he
climb
loved
the
that.
porch like monkeys.
Oh, I remember the time Beaver they were in high school, and John Collins. He was in the
I forgot about John.
He come in, and all of a sudden I heard something upstairs. We saw it downstairs. I said, Bucky, somebody's upstairs. Somebody's trying to get in the window. No, yeah. And I went upstairs and coming down, I got scared and I fell all the way down on my back. I wanted to kill him then. But he wanted to see Beaver, so he figured it was late. I'll just go in the window. Of course, they did that anyway, sneaking in and out.
Oh yeah.
You know.
That was a door.
Dad used to do the same thing. When he had his own room at Grandma's, he used to sneak out every night.
Dad did? Why did he have to sneak out? He was an adult.
No, he wasn't. I'm talking about when he was a teenager.
Oh yeah.
And
I
he-
snuck out of the house a couple times.
Oh, yeah?
You chased me around, remember, in the escort?
Oh, yeah. Well, we won't go there. We will not go there. That was a bad memory. I used to chase him because he was seeing this girl I couldn't stand. So it was in North Bay. So he took off on the four-wheeler. So I knew where he was going. I'm not stupid. But half the time I couldn't find him. So when he did see me, I think he was laughing at me because he's in the woods like going, you know, where he wanted to go. And I said, you little
I know
son.
every wood trail alive.
So I go over there, getting in the trailer. Of course, I didn't see him, but I saw the mattress move. He was in between the mattress and the springs hiding. I was, oh my God. Got your ass home though, didn't I? Eddie didn't he come to, wasn't he there with you?
Eddie was involved somewhere.
Yeah, I think he was with you. But
He was like 14.
that's how he was though.
What do you
He
mean?
was, you'd take off.
You almost went in a different direction. Like, I was an awesome kid, right? Wasn't I?
Uh-huh. You were a good kid. You were just, I didn't like her. You know, it wouldn't have mattered if he took off on it, but I didn't like her. I knew where he was going. She's one of these yes people.
What are you talking about? I'm still a virgin.
Yeah, right. You haven't been a virgin since you were young. Anyway, she used to fight. I used to fight with her terrible. I mean, I was bad, wasn't I, with her? She come over one day with him and had the lawn chairs out to the side of the house. And she sat and wanted, you get the hell off my chair.
So let's talk about high school years with me.
That was high school.
I know, but like, was I fun as a kid? Like Heidi, Wendy, and Beaver gone.
You were
And I'm the only one
You were
there.
a
So
good
did you
kid.
have a good time?
Yeah.
When I was there?
Yep. I think I enjoyed you the most because you were born so much later than them, you know?
That's the only reason.
No. No, you were good. You were a good. I mean, you gave me some problems. I'm not saying you were an angel.
Give me one example of a problem I gave you.
Which one? The school?
No, not the fighting and stuff. That's not a problem.
No. You were the type of kid
It's
if
a
you
problem.
No, it's
It
not.
wasn't- it was a
problem.
big
It's
problem.
You don't get to say what the problem is.
Yeah. The problem where you know, just decided you'd pop a kid side the head. And I was at the school crying because I don't even know how I knew it. But I saw that kid and I thought, oh my God, did Kurt do that? So he was coming up the hallway with the principal. Uh-oh, it was him. I don't know why. I was going to school for something. I forgot what it was. Maybe you'd got your lunch money.
My lunch money.
But anyway,
I needed my pizza. It was Friday.
But he had a loose temper, short temper.
You understand that I was conditioned. Dad
Yeah.
and my
Dad
brother
was short temper too.
and all his friends. No, it's not the temper. Because most of the time when I fought, I wasn't mad. It was just fun.
Yeah, fun.
That was like,
Fun.
it was.
Sure. You almost killed somebody.
No, you don't think about that. I got my ass kicked
I
a
know
lot
you
too, you
didn't
know.
think.
But I'm just saying that fighting was like fun.
Yeah. Okay.
But let's talk about 1988, the year I graduated. With all the music, coming out of that room.
Yeah.
She like supported everything I did,
Yep.
right?
And the guitar playing and the bands out, the air bands out back, and all his friends in and out. And we used to do movies. Dad had a movie camera, so he did a movie on us selling drugs. Me.
Oh yeah, that was
I've seen
John.
that.
Lee sold you drugs in that video.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
didn't even like doing it.
John
I hated
Mellencamp.
it. And I had to act the part, of course.
And you did.
I hated it. That's what he was like. He was just always entertaining, and he still does that now. You know, he just was that type of guy that liked to entertain people and made them happy. You really did. And that's the way he was. And I always knew he'd stay that way because he was so into music, you know. And I think a lot of it my dad started the whole thing. My father was a drummer, a singer, a dancer.
One of the best.
And he used to come and hear the kids, and he used to really intrigue him a lot. And he pushed it too. My father did. You know, let him be down. I said, well, I do. I have no choice because they're going to do it anyway, right? But it was fun. I mean, I got so used to the music, I danced around the house because I was younger to dance. So I danced around the house to it. You remember that?
You were in a lot of our music videos
Yeah.
that I made.
Yeah.
And Heather, I gave her a task because I'm never going to do it. She's going to take all our videotapes
Oh, yeah.
and she's going to have them digitized.
I can figure it out.
Yeah.
You have to. All you have to do is get on the computer and tell them what you want to do, and you'll.
I think you got to send them somewhere, but we're
I-
definitely going to have some
Yeah,
old
because-
videos up.
yeah.
They're going to be amazing.
Because I had some slides and my dad made into pictures, and I did it over the internet. And what they do is they send you a package to put them in with their address and what you want and how many, and then you get it right back in no time.
All right, Mom, look into the camera and
Yeah.
tell Heidi, Wendy, and Beaver and me how much you love us.
Oh, there's no words to describe how much I love you kids. Are you kidding me? You're my life.
And hopefully Wendy will come home in
Let's
late
hope
July
so.
with Beeve. We'll put this out there. I'm going to send it to all these guys. But what an amazing mother. Look what you did. For real. Like, you
I
look
had
around.
children?
Look at, no, hold on a minute. You look at Wendy. You look at Heidi. You look at Beeve. You look at us. You know, everything that we have in our beautiful lives is because of you.
Oh, thank you. And
Don't take that for granted.
And you all did. Oh, I can't take all the credit.
Mom.
You were just good kids, period.
We are who we are because of you.
Well, thank you. I like that idea. But you've got a beautiful wife and you've got beautiful kids, and it all goes from there.
Listen, I understand and I take credit for everything that we accomplished on our own, but without that launching pad and that foundation, none of this would ever happen.
But you had Dad's counseling too, that helped.
Yeah.
Dad was
Oh,
good.
Dad
was a
kept
good
us in
counselor.
line. He kept
Yeah,
me in line. I know that.
He did.
But he was like, such a beautiful, subtle disciplinarian. You know, he wasn't like
He never
an
screamed.
iron fist. He would give you lessons you didn't know you didn't even know he was giving you lessons.
Exactly. Like those kids, if they're misbehaving or fighting, it's all if he was reading the paper, that's all he had to do was put the paper
Just
down
look over, just
and look
kinda-
at them.
Yeah,
Peace. They
it
shut right up.
ended instantly.
Yeah.
Love
He
you,
was-
Mom.
He was a good dad. Love you too. Love you all.
Say it again.
I love you all.
Love you.
Love you.